Chat. Hello. Check, can you hear me okay? Check 1 2. Check. Hello, can you hear me okay? Awesome. I love crickets. We're gonna get started here soon, alright? Check, can you hear me okay? Check 1 2. Check. Hello, can you hear me okay? Awesome. I love crickets. We're gonna get started here soon, alright?
You know, we met Jason.
Hey!
We met Jason.
I did. Tonight was the first time.
He's my sponsor.
Yeah, it's so right. He's so dope. What's up?
What's up? How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
to see you.
Yeah, you too. What's happening? What's up, Corey? How you doing?
Hey, RNG.
How are you?
Do you think they will care if I use the restroom before this starts?
No.
Are those two seats taken?
Sit, yeah, sit here. Sit over here with us.
Alright.
Someone's
sitting there.
No, go
No,
ahead.
nobody's.
No, it's just a put. Here, give me that.
Oh, it's essential oils.
Good idea.
Let me
Yeah.
put my
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, the only problem with that is bzz, 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 you hear that. Bzz. Hey. Billion. Yeah.
We're live. We're live. Let's go.
Can you do the podcast next week?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good to do.
Because tonight we have Gus. He
Birthday
has
boy.
a year. So he's going to come on the podcast.
Congrats.
But I want you to do it next week if you
Yeah,
can.
yeah, I think
So how's work and shit?
I can.
I want to talk about all that.
Yeah.
Just like what it's like to. So you're a gaffer?
No, I'm working as a Dolly grip mostly.
A Dolly grip.
Right.
So you just deal with rolling.
Yeah, my main deal is
Things.
the camera sits on the Dolly, like do moves or set up the track. Or
So no bumps in the track.
right.
That's like.
Depends on what you're doing. You know.
So sometimes you want bumps in the track.
I mean, sometimes you're gonna roll on a floor just to be in the frenetic energy.
Dino.
Wow.
You're in.
Kicking in the door. And like, you know,
I love it.
whatever. I'm just gonna roll on the kitchen floor. And, as they're
Yeah.
Sometimes it works.
So you're like you're moving the thing
Where is it?
that the camera's on.
Right.
That's rad. Have you seen Queen's Gambit yet?
No, I haven't.
There's an insane dolly shot, like one of the sickest ones I've ever seen. Just like starts wide, goes in on these two, but it's like really low, and it feels like a track, but there's no track, so
Right, you
it
would
has
see
to
it.
be a
So
dolly.
a lot of times they have these really bitch and stabilized heads now, you know, the Ronin and
Yeah,
all these
yeah.
other heads, and you can just roll on anything, and you know, you could be rolling on gravel.
What's up?
Wow.
Look at
Oh,
you.
because it's so.
Hey.
But they're in a right. They're in a. It's in a racquetball court, so smooth ground. But it starts like really low. And it's
They're
just, I don't
doing
know.
yoga.
I just
Hell yeah,
noticed
dude.
it.
I want to do yoga.
That shot. That we're live right now.
Yoga.
Yep, we're
That
live.
show
7:30.
was shot really, really well. All right, 7:30 meeting time.
What? We get one time?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, but we're missing.
Everybody's good. I'm getting ready to sit in on AA meeting
who are we
right
missing?
now. Did you guys start the meeting?
We're going to, yeah.
Okay. So
Well, we'll start in a minute. Whenever you're ready.
Look at the dogs. They
We're
smell
not
good.
a slave to anybody.
Oh, where's Shaw? Shaw went to Mexico, huh?
What's going on? Did you guys start?
No, we're good.
So where's Danielle?
Billy's gonna be a little late.
What about Danielle? Where'd she go?
Danielle's not coming.
Started the last
Yeah.
He's like
Um,
the first tattoo shop ever.
Jonathan Shaw. I guess he's not. He's Johnny Depp's tattoo artist. He's like a really prolific. He's like a
I
writer.
want a tattoo from him.
Yeah, we all want
Is
to.
he coming right now?
He might, I don't know.
We could do it on the podcast.
Let's go. Let's
Haircuts,
go.
tattoos.
Yeah. Okay.
Bro, this chick wants to buy that Riv outright. Some actress chick. That was fucking Justin Bieber's manager. Just called me. He's
You're-
like, this girl wants it.
The car.
Yeah. He's like,
Whoa.
I'm like, well, if somebody wins it and they don't want it, I'll sell it to her for cheap. Like somebody whoever wants buys it for 100, wins it, cashes it out.
And they
for
can
120
make money.
G's. Yeah,
Whoa.
turn 120. Maybe you guys should buy a ticket now.
I actually
She wants
thought
whatever,
of buying a
25K.
ticket, but I for some reason in the back of my mind I was like I bought a ticket, hook me up, right?
Yeah, I know. That's how
No,
a lot of people are. They get butthurt and they don't win.
Yeah.
They just want it.
I was like, so my head went there for a second. I'm like, yeah, I better just.
Yeah.
But plus, I'm not
Bro, birthday gift?
that's
Not a
just
gambler.
crazy.
Damn, faith.
But $100.
Damn.
It's the only one out of one.
Right, and it matches
Dude,
his
that's
tattoo.
sick.
How
That is
crazy
sick.
is that? Remember this
What are you
tattoo?
dropping? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
tattoo.
that's
I
who
love
we're
that.
missing.
Where'd
It's
you
you.
get that sweatshirt?
All right, so we're gonna need.
Got it.
Are you down to maybe lead?
Amazing, bro. I like the cut on the sweatshirt.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I don't really know Billy's whole.
Yeah. What's
Spiel,
his
so I don't
spiel? Who can Gus? Can
He
you lead?
doesn't have like a spiel, dude.
You know what? I'll fucking lead. There's not much to. We're gonna read out of Emmett Fox's Sermon on the Mount. Does anyone know where we left off?
55 or something.
No, that's not how it works. We gotta
Right, we gotta do a meditation.
I'll lead.
There you go.
Okay.
You streaming this on TikTok yet?
Oh no, we're just on YouTube. I mean, the sound isn't really right for TikTok, you know. This little mic here is really nice for YouTube. People can really hear what we're saying. Wait, but I don't hear anything.
What do you mean?
Are you sure that you have? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I heard
I'm
it.
tripping. Do it on the podcast.
Yeah, we got
Alright.
it.
So where do we leave off?
So basically, this meeting is a Sermon on the Mount meeting. It's an hour and a half. Everybody can share.
Turn it up
raise
a little
your
bit.
hand. We start off by doing like a 4-minute meditation and we read through the Sermon on the Mount. I have no idea where we left off, but we'll figure it out. So, what's the time? Okay,
I'll do that. There you go. What a guy. Okay.
Hey,
There she is.
we're starting our 4-minute meditation now.
yeah, it's starting now.
Ye have heard
Shall
that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not kill. Whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Rakah, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, Thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there rememberest that thy brother hath aught against thee, leave there thy gift before the altar, and go thy way. First be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. Should I stop there and
Yeah.
you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
So he seems to be saying that, there's a law, right? And everybody pretty much knows this law. You shouldn't kill. But Jesus is saying, I'm saying that there's more to it. That it's not about our actions as much as it is about our attitude toward what we're doing, what's in our heart. Because that's what all of our actions and choices come out of. So he's saying that your heart has to be right, more so than just your actions. Because there's times where our actions could look right, but really our heart's not in it, and that's the problem. Or our actions could look wrong, but our heart is right. So he's saying that you're not making our judgment in that time. So it's more about your heart than what your actions actually are.
Yeah.
There's times where our actions could look. In the Rakah, that's just like from what I understand, it's like an old, like, Hebrew just insult. Consonant. He's saying if you're bringing a gift to the altar, so they would go to the altar, temple to be reconciled to God for whatever sin they had. They would bring in an atonement or a sacrifice or something, or an offering. He's saying if there's something that you have a conflict with somebody and it's not settled, like don't bother with your gift to the altar. Like go settle that. That's what's important. I can't forgive you, me being God, I can't forgive you if you're still unsettled, like you're still in the middle of it. You gotta go get right with that person, then come and and do whatever forgiveness you think is offered you. I think we just need to pay attention more why we're doing something, more so than these externals that we talk about all the time. The externals is not really what it's about. It's what's going on right here inside my attitude toward God and my fellow man. That's it.
So you just read the little text.
Yeah.
Why'd the text get all different here?
That's quoting Jesus. That's Jesus talking.
It's from the Bible.
And then Emmett Fox is gonna explain it here.
Right. You want me to go on and read or send it up here?
Yeah.
Or we can continue talking about
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we need to you're right, we need to read that paragraph for it to kind of make sense.
Right. Well, he's a Bible guy, so he kind of already knows what's up, which is dope. But I feel like I'm not gonna really understand the Bible as it's written. It's kind of hard to.
This is in the older, translation. There's translations that kind of bring it into more contemporary language.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not. There's easier translations than that.
Greg, ridiculous. But what's a trip is like, I have to first reconcile with my brother and then come offer gifts, and it's a trip to people that come to mind in my heart, right? Like their names and faces come up, and I'm like, damn, like note to self, like I need to make peace with these people before I bring the gift, and that's tough. Like, at least for me, to like reconcile with people before I can bring a gift like to the kingdom. That's quite an asking, but like a good reminder for me. But that's what really stood out.
I guess I have a question. Because I know like a lot of the history of this.
Scoot in a little bit, if you can, just so we can hear.
Okay, just because it
So
says
everyone can hear.
bring a sacrifice or a gift. Is this written Matthew? Isn't that the New Testament? I feel like now like at least speaking from my experience, like I have like a direct relationship with my higher power, and like yes, like I'm gonna do my best to reconcile like with my brother if I have like an issue, but like is this like old, like where you have to like make a sacrifice in order to like go directly towards God? Because I feel like with me, like I have a direct, I don't know, like is this old like in Matthew, or is this
I know just what you're saying, but he's
does that
speaking.
make sense?
I don't know what you're saying, but
So it's Jesus, so it's
he seems to understand what your question
Yeah, no,
is.
I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
What?
The New Testament is clear, and you know Jesus, and he's like bringing all these new, you know, insights into the old Jewish law.
Mm.
So he's talking to people that don't know the New Testament. It's not. It's happening right now.
Okay.
So he's talking to this old religious structure, right? And they did bring a sacrifice to atone for their sin, but he explains later that he is that sacrifice because he was without sin, and then it's as if like say you go to court and your penalty is death and you're sentenced to death, and then the judge says, you know what, I love you so much, I have so much compassion for you, I'm going to pay your penalty. You go free, the penalty, justice is still served, I'm going to be executed in your place. That's it. That's how extreme he's saying that, you know, his position was. But he also explains later that the gift or the sacrifice that you bring is your life. Like we are living sacrifices. You die to yourself every day. He's talking about learning to lose there. You're dying to your ego every single day, and that's your sacrifice. It's just faith in what he is saying. Because the sacrifice in the old days is just an image of what was to come, which is him.
And I think that they're gonna explain it.
Yeah.
I mean, Fox is gonna explain this shit pretty.
Well, and Hamish, I'll call him.
Hamish.
Well, I mean, the whole thing he's been explaining through this thing is there's two different realities we live in. We live in the material world of the 3 dimensions and the 5 senses, and then we live in our spiritual world, right? And the outside world is the outside world. But if your spiritual life inside of yourself isn't true, the outside world doesn't mean anything. So you can run around and be like, well, yeah, the first rule is you're not supposed to be killing anybody, but it doesn't matter if you're walking around with thoughts of killing people, because you're already manifesting. Like all thoughts create, right? Like we talk about it a lot in prime time. Like your thought life manifests to the outside world. So if you're not pure in your thought life and in your eternal life, right? It doesn't matter what you do in the real world, because if you're walking around like adultering in your head, you're still an adulterer. If you're walking around in your head doing all this stuff, you're still doing it. Just because you're not manifesting it in the 3-dimensional world. Well, God is multidimensional, and He knows right in there. That's what the whole thing's about. Is God knows exactly what you're up to. You can't hide from God. The only person you're hiding it from is yourself. So you're lying to yourself, thinking, oh, just because I walk around and I'm holier than thou, but I'm sitting there thinking about doing coke and banging whoever. And
Why are you looking at me, fool?
Because you're right across.
I know, I'm just joking.
I know. But so it's that thing, right, where again, and I think we see it all right now, is you can walk around and say whatever you want, but if you're sitting in your own house being a dick to your wife, hassling your kids, eating junk food, and then you're looking outside going, those dudes and that, you're angry. Because you're bitter at yourself because you haven't come true to God and been like, God, what is it? And God said, look, dude, I'm going to send, if we're going on where this is coming from, the Christian narrative, is He sent His only Son down to show us the way, and He sacrificed everything. He gave the gift, His life. So the gift is your ego, you bring it to the altar, and if you can't practice the forgiveness that God gave you through His Son, how can you achieve forgiveness? because that's the first rule of the whole thing is do unto others as you would have them do unto yourself. And God's like, I forgave you. You don't have to do anything. I forgave you. Now what are you going to do with your thought life? Are you going to run around and still pretend? Like, still pretend just because I don't do what I do. I'm you know, we're alcoholics, right? You know? Like we have to, I'm free of alcoholism in my thought life. Like I don't think about drinking or snorting coke. I'm fully aware that I could start thinking about it. Mm-hmm. So I can talk to someone about my experience, right? That's why I don't tell them what to do, because I have to live it inside of myself first before it matters out there. So I think that's a lot of what we've been talking about in this narrative.
Dude, I just recently saw something on TikTok that was really cool. This guy was talking about, it reminds me of what we're talking about. Like, you fly your jet, you get all these amazing things. Like, you drive your limo to the jet, and you got an island, and all the chicks fucking feeding you shit, but you got a sore throat. Every time you swallow, your throat hurts. Like nothing else would matter except for that. Like, and it's like the only thing that matters is like this secret place that they talk about in the spiritual, because I could have so much and be in so much pain. I have been, like all last night I was in my head because of fear and resentment, and I feel better already just thinking about how I need to forgive this person who's actually about to walk in here right now, my sponsor. I need to just forgive him and talk about what it is that's going on, and without having my side of the street clean, practicing these principles, humility, service, forgiveness. I got a sore throat, and it doesn't fucking matter. The hottest chicks could be feeding me grapes or whatever, and I'm just, every time I swallow, it's just excruciating pain. All I want to do is fix that thing, all these amazing things around me, and it's just like, have you ever had, like, I've been in that situation where, you know, you're sick, and it just doesn't matter where you're at or what you have. You're just like, fuck, dude, I'd do anything to just, which also kind of just reminds me to just be really grateful to have my health, you know. If you're chilling, if I'm chilling right now, I don't have anything that's like screaming out in pain. I'm pretty healthy overall. I don't have any kind of gnarly, which is just like, just that in itself is like, dude, right on. Thank you, God, so much, you know?
And he's out.
See you later. Yeah, thanks, Pat.
So this paragraph just inspired me to send a text to somebody reminding them that I love them. Because the last time I encountered them, I didn't act in a loving way. So, go chapter, go paragraph.
Making amends, right?
Right.
Step number 4, I mean, that's, you know, not everybody's like read the big book, but that's like the hardest one usually. You know, writing everything down and going and making amends, and that's not necessarily like going to apologize to someone. It's just, you know, getting it right before bringing it against the wall to the altar.
That low-key fucks me up though. Like making amends. When I think about making amends, I like remember when I was like fully sober and I made a bunch of amends and then like relapsed. It's just like, now I'm like afraid to make amends. Like if I go back into AA, which I probably am going to soon, like I don't think I'm doing super well. So like I think soon I'm going to like get fully abstinent again and go back to AA. But like amends freak me out because I don't want to be the person who like tells you like I'm sorry. Not even sorry, but like makes this whole amends process and tells you like I'm gonna do better or like whatever that is, and then like fail again. You know, I'm like like I just constantly fail. Is how I feel.
We all do.
I know, isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I work in treatment, and today I was like reading the big book with one of my clients. Like, they asked me to do a specific book study with one of my clients, and I'm, like, not doing well, and I'm not sober. So I sat down and I was reading, I don't even know what I was reading to her, but it was talking about, like, the alcoholic, like, it was doing the moderate drinker, hard drinker, alcoholic thing, and it was doing that, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, damn, when it talks about, like, not being able to stop drinking, and then, like, you wake up and you have that, like, nervousness and, like, the shakiness, so you have to use, like, sedatives. It's just, like, all of it. It's just, like, too much right now for me, you know? And it's just, I'm, like, in a fucked up place, because, like, I want to be where, like, I am, like, useful to God, but at the same time, it's, like, I feel so stuck, like, in, like, quicksand, you know? It's kind of wild.
Your new tattoos look cool.
Thank you. I got some work done recently. I get, like, 4 tattoos, like, every week. Like, I just
You should
do
be
that.
covered by now.
I know, right? My legs, I'm working on my legs, too.
Mikey, alcoholic.
Mikey.
This is tough, man. This is a tough read for me. Just gonna be honest. It's like the amends process and like acting a certain way and thinking a certain way. I had a sponsor who passed away, who told me, he said, "You can think whatever the fuck you want to think," and I think I listened to him, and I don't want to say he was wrong, but I still have thoughts all the time that are fucked up, like
Right.
like really fucked up,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know. And I think I'm in the right place, but at the same time, it's like, how long can I make excuses for shit that happened to me? It's just, I'm just having a hard time. I'm just having a hard time because it's like I still carry, like, I feel like me and God are right on. I feel that. But then a situation will come up where it's like I'm triggered. I'm just triggered.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot. A lot. You know, I'm never going to be good enough. I'm not smart enough. Like that, because that's how I was raised, in a sense. I shouldn't say that. That's how I was made to feel. So success was always so very important to me, because I'm not book smart. If I would have applied myself, I'm sure I would have been. So I kind of chose a path that I was like, okay, I'm going to be successful in this way, and I even at the most successful time in my career, music, I was still unhappy, you know. And I don't want to say I'm unhappy, but I still am just haunted by, you know, I'm quick to say I'm sorry. I'm quick to say I was wrong. How can I make it up to you? Like, how can I make this right? You know, because that to me is a real amends. So, but I'm still just triggered on a daily basis of like fucking thoughts and feelings. You know, maybe I need to talk to my therapist more. I don't know what it is, but I'm just being honest. Like, I'm fucking in a weird place where it's like hearing this reading, and it's like, I mean, you know, you talk, not to get into the Bible, but we are getting into the Bible. So Jesus, you know, God sent his only son to die and be the ultimate sacrifice. You know, I mean, if it was the old days, if I sinned or I had a thought or I, you know, whatever, I would have to go, you know what I mean? I think about my daughter, and I'm like, what if that had to be my ultimate sacrifice? Was to say, okay, God, okay, A, B, and C, this is my ultimate sacrifice. I'm gonna give my daughter's like, fucking A. Like, what? Like, that's a true God. That's something that I have no understanding about. I have no understanding about a God, a man coming down to die. It's just insane. It's insane. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling, but I'm in pain. I'm in true fucking pain. And, you know, even with 17 years sober and having what I have, like, I'm grateful. Like, I do have a sickness. I do have a disease that I live with every day, and I'm grateful for that, because it taught me a lot about myself. It taught me a lot about God and my relationship with God. but it just goes back. Let me wrap it up because I'm affected a lot. I let what other people say, maybe they don't even mean to say it that way, A, B, and C, like I revert back to when I was a child. I revert back to a thought where it's like, yeah, I did call my sponsor the other day, and he's like, oh, so you're bringing your mommy and daddy issues to work now. You're bringing your mom. I thought we've been over this, and I feel like that's like the realness I have, like the relationship I have with him. But I'm like, fuck, man, I got to do some work, and change comes within, right? If we're gonna change, it has to start within. So I'm done rambling, but it's just, yeah, that one got me. So
Thanks, Mikey.
Hamish, on that, on piggybacking on all of that, again, because this is coming from the Christian narrative, everybody talks a lot about the sacrifice, but the whole real narrative's about the resurrection. That's what it's all about. It's not that God sent his only son to die for all of our sins and to show us the way. It's that he resurrected him with this supernatural ability, which he's illustrating that the temporal world, the three dimensions, is artificial. It's totally make-believe, and that God, with his supernatural ability, can alter all that, take us to AA, because a lot of where we're coming from is, right, the second step is easily bypassed. Aim to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity, right? Implying that we're insane, that we already crucified ourselves. We already nailed ourselves to the cross by drinking and drugging and doing what we do, trying to kill ourselves, because ultimately we wanted to find this deeper atonement. Whether you're there or not doesn't matter, because that's when you can realize that you're insane and you're crazy because you're caught in this and not that. Because, right, it's a program of thorough honesty, which means that you have to look at yourself and what is going on in there. What is going on there? Then you once you kind of get there, you go to step 3, turn my life and care over the God of my understanding, right? But that's the thing of thorough honesty. Like, I look at my own journey, 8 years into it. Why am I stone cold sober? My life's falling apart. Oh, I never wanted to face my depression, right? But the minute I looked at my depression and publicly proclaimed it, no one wants to come out with that, right? I did it at a meeting. It was like the burden lifted, right? Because I finally was honest with myself and my own thought life about, like, oh, this and that, which made me depressed, which was all the stuff, whatever it was. But the minute I was honest with myself and did what I'm supposed to do, right, I was powerless over it. I was insane because I kept trying to cover it up and pretend it wasn't there and do all this and that. Turn it over to the care of God of my understanding, which was to admit it and be thoroughly honest. It was God gave me the miracle again. He resurrected me again from my own depths of hell, my own personal crucifix, which was me pretending I'm not depressed. Everything's fine, dude. I'm sober, everything's great, but it's not, because I still had not been thoroughly honest with myself and been ducking and weaving inside of here. And God knew that. God was just waiting for me to go, hey, you want to give me that? And sure enough, I did, and I've never really been that depressed since. It comes, but I know what to do now.
Thanks, Hamish.
Corey. I just want to add a couple of things to I feel like it's easy to misread when he's saying, you gotta be reconciled to your brother before you bring a gift. It's not that we have to be perfect before we can come to God. If that was the case, I never would have made it. It's not about being perfect, but it's about, if I'm coming to him for forgiveness, he's saying, look into your own life and make sure that you've offered that to everyone, or at least have started a process of that before you think you're gonna be all good. Because it really is about a process, like we said before, not being perfect. So if it was about being perfect, none of us would ever get there. We would never even approach God. And the other point I was gonna just add to is the thought life. You know, you say it's not that we're not allowed to have thoughts. We all have thoughts, and it's about what you do with those thoughts and how you process them. And it's about bringing them to prayer.
Yeah. Yep.
And I feel like I'm redundant with that a lot. I always say it's always about prayer. Everything, bring everything to prayer. And he's just pointing out that that's where your actions are conceived, are in your thoughts and in your heart. And you can be angry with somebody, but it's about, does that turn into hatred, or does that turn into reaching out for reconciliation with those emotions that we don't deal with?
Gus, I like how you said that. Like for me, like I try like obviously we all get these thoughts and they're impure, and for me, like if I don't take it to God immediately, it like fucks me up, right? It's like, you know, like that scene in the desert where there's like the tumbleweed and it keeps getting bigger, the sticks, and they fucking keep going, the wind's blowing at it, it's like becoming this huge, like I look at, like whenever those thoughts come, I'm like, I can either like do something about it now, or I can let it grow, you know, because that's what's gonna happen inevitably. It's just gonna keep getting bigger, and then like more sticks are gonna come from over here and over there, and it becomes this giant mass of fucking bullshit that I get, like, you know what I mean? So like I start telling myself at night, I try to like look at how I felt about something, or what I can do to be better, or like I pray for that person, which is like, fuck that. I just never do that. Like someone fucked with me, I'll be like, I gotta pray for him now. Okay. You know? But like it's like the only thing that's actually liberating, you know? Which is what this is saying, right?
It's really tough to hate somebody that you're praying for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks.
Looks good.
Anybody else want to share on this? One? I think this paragraph is going to be, no, it's a half. You want to go?
Alright.
I'll do that.
So the old law, dealing as it did with an earlier and lower state of race consciousness, concerned itself necessary with external things, for man's apparent evolution is from outer to inner, just as his fundamental spirit growth is from inner to outer. He begins by giving his attention exclusively to externals, thinking to find in them cause as well as effect. But as he progresses, the truth gradually dawns upon him that outer things are built, but the finished article, the result of causes and happenings on the inner. And when he has reached this stage, he has started definitely upon the search for God. So the old law concerned itself, at least in a letter, almost altogether with external observances, and it was satisfied if these were fulfilled. It said, "Thou shalt not kill," and provided man did not murder, he kept the law, regardless of how much he may have desired to commit murder, or how bitterly he might have still hate in his enemy. He said, "Thou shalt not steal," and provided that he did not appropriate his neighbor's property, he was held to have fulfilled the law, irrespective of what he felt about it. I've got nothing if anyone wants to jump in.
I feel like that was saying that it doesn't matter what we think. It's about our actions. Because I like disagree. I feel like a lot of people are, someone said like, it's like about our thought life. But I don't feel like I control a lot of the shit that goes on in my head. Like I'll have these gnarly thoughts. Like how often do I think about like killing someone or like all types of fucked up shit like Mikey was saying? Like I have dark thoughts all day. But like I think it's about whether or not I choose to act on them. Like I think it's interesting too, like last week I was here and I talked about like being clean off heroin and meth and like how that came about for me. And it's really wild that, like, right after I shared that, like, yesterday I had a really rough day. And I got to a point where I was like, you know what, fuck it. Should I just, like, call the plug? Like, I find that interesting, right? Like, that my thoughts can get there. And it's also, like, right after I, like, proclaim, like, what God has done for me. You know what I mean? Like, I say, like, okay, like, God literally saved me from all this shit. And for the first time in a really long time, like, I actually considered that. You know what I mean? But I think I'm still in, like, a good place in the sense that I didn't do it, you know?
Do you have people like this that you can reach out to when you feel that way?
I mean, I probably have, like, over 200 numbers from AA in my phone. But, like, do I reach out? No.
Right.
Like, when I get to, like, a dark spot, I normally just, like, run away from it all, you know? Like, hide from the situation. It's kind of fucked up. Like, I really think, like, soon I'm gonna just, like, detox and get sober. Because at this point, it's just, like, not... Like, I drink to, like, be okay. Like, literally. I can barely work. I'm, like, shaking at work, you know? Like, it's to a point, it's like, is it really worth, like, you know? It's kind of, the fun's kind of over.
I'm Jason, I'm an alcoholic.
Jason.
And I can relate because in 2000 I came into AA, and then it took me 4 years of going in and out. And I used to go to the log cabin meeting.
Sick.
I'd sit there and I'd fucking just leave early to go smoke crack, and I wanted to get sober.
Right.
But I did it so many times, and I was just like sitting there judging everybody. And I'd be like, fuck, I want to get sober so bad. I'm like, oh, I need to go get high. And it was just, that's what I would do until I was done, you know? And even when I was done, I was like 6 months into Liberty House, this gnarly structure place that I went through. And they told me, you know, I couldn't go get laid for 6 months. And I had this chick lined up. Finally, I had my 6 months.
Right, for sure.
They hit me with dinner and some bullshit. And I jumped up, and I was so fucking pissed, right? And I go into the kitchen, I'm like about to punch the wall, and then it just came over me like this surrender, and I just started laughing. And I came back in, and all 30 people at dinner, and the manager was like, what's he doing? And I was just laughing. They're like, you're gonna leave, you're gonna get high. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm just laughing, just complete surrender. And I remembered that, you know, I showed up there to show me how to get sober, teach me how to live a different way, because left up to myself, fuck it up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I remember my sister always said, this is your college, because you didn't go through college. So like, stick it out and stay until they say you're ready to leave. And all that stuff just flashed in front of me at that moment when I was like, you know, just something that I was conjuring in my head, my perception of like how important things are. It's just newcomer shit, you know. But I sat down and I wrote the essays, because that's how we dealt with it, the consequences of whatever I did. I don't forget what it was, you know, it's not even important now. And I banged it out, and then I got laid that night.
Sick.
And I went, and I dealt with the consequences, and then I still got what I wanted. But it's interesting because Gus was taking a year today, and I remember him a year ago, and I'm sponsoring him, and I took him through the steps. And a year ago, he lost his job, and he was like just a shell of a human being, because his job was everything. He defined himself around his job, and he's like, what am I gonna do? And then today he was talking, he's like, dude, crazy year. And I was like, crazy fucking year. Yeah, like, not only you don't have a job, but so many people in the world don't have a job. And he's like, yeah, it's such a blessing. And for him, it's a blessing. Everybody else, it's a curse. So it's just perception. Our perception on a daily basis is just so crazy. Like, to address, is it Mike?
Mikey.
Mikey. Yeah, it's like my perception, and I always talk about those things that come up for me during the day. My head's a scary place, and it's early in the morning, 6 in the morning, I wake up and it's already going, you know? And so I'm like Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
I'm fucking swatting that shit. It's like, here it comes. I'm like, oh, there's Jason Schneidman, fucking whoosh. Like, dude, oh, she's throwing this. Like, you don't have enough money, whoosh. Like, you're not going to be good enough today, whoosh. And I'm just like, and I see him coming, I hear him, and I feel that uncomfortable feeling for a fucking split second. And I'm like, nope, I'm just right here, and then I get the shower, and I get coffee, and then I have that moment from coffee where I get high off of coffee, and I'm like, dude, this is amazing. Like, I don't have to get high, but it's just surrender, and for me, it was being done and loving, letting, like they say, let everybody else love you until you can love yourself.
Yeah.
And that's, it's key that you're like, do you have people you can call? Like, you can call me fucking 4 in the morning. I'll drive to fucking Dallas if you're gonna shoot yourself with a needle. And I don't even know you, but that's who I am. And I will fucking feel amazing drive. That's how intense people are out there that want to help in order to help themselves. And, at the same time, staying sober. And that's how the program works. So yeah, I mean, we love you. You know what I mean? Until you can love yourself.
Can I say like one more thing? You're talking about like surrender, and it's funny because like I was fully abstinent, like I talked about last time, for like 3 months at the beginning, and that was like when I was getting off heroin and meth and fat and all that, and then like for the last like 8, 9 months, I don't know how long I've been drinking, and it was fine for so long. Like I keep thinking about where the book talks about like AA. It talks about like this idea of like there might be periods where you think you've like regained control, but like it's always such intervals are like followed by a still worse relapse, which that was my biggest fear this whole time. I'm like, dude, everything's going so well. I'm like having fun. I'm controlling it, and I don't know what point brought me here, but like I'm at a point that like I feel like I'm being forced to my knees. Like I don't feel like I really want to stop. Like right now in my head I think like I'm gonna drink until like there's absolutely no steam left in my body, but like I can feel myself just lowering. Like I'm losing that energy. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting like weaker and weaker because it's like it's everything that I'm doing trying to just like maintain life. That's just like a complete fail in every aspect. You know what I'm saying?
Sick and tired.
Yeah, it's like it's getting there. Like I'm really getting to a point that I feel like I'm just like gonna be like helpless. Like, and that's the surrender, right? Like,
yeah, but then you take your will back, like I did in 6 months.
Right, for sure, always.
So it's like you gotta continue to make those surrenders, just like Mikey every day. You gotta recognize where I'm hurting and why and what do I need to do to get out of this immediately, because this is no place for an alcoholic.
Right. Well, like I read something this morning and it talked about like pulling myself out of the isolation. Like I have people in my life, and I had to do a lot of writing today. I actually had to do Zoom school with my daughter. Today was just a long day, and like Pat always said, like coming here, like I just literally felt like I could open my mouth and speak, and I already feel better. And I'm thinking it's like this is what I look forward to. Now I do A, B, and C throughout the week, and I have to keep. I mean, I'd be fucking long gone if I wasn't taking care of myself. But just recognizing that, like, someone told me you never have to drink again whether you want to or not. Like, you may want to, you may not want to, but you just don't have to. So for me, it's getting it out, writing it down, telling someone, and then just being here. Like, I mean, I hope someone else like could relate to that. I hope someone else can like, say that this is the daily struggle we go through, because everything is great. But in my mind, I play out all these scenarios, and I should, what do they say? Like, I'm just done shitting on myself. Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. I shouldn't have done this. I just want to walk. And I think coming here and hearing this and reading this book, like, just makes me want to be closer to God. So in a sense, like hearing the God talk, I'm like, man, am I just a fraud? I don't know if anyone else has felt like that in sobriety, but like I went through that a couple years ago, and I did the work. So it's like it's just the triggers that pop up. I want to be able to recognize them and speak them out loud. Does that make sense? So I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you sharing. And it's a daily. I have to do this. I have to sacrifice every day. I think. What I've been talking to my sponsor about is I need to do the steps again.
Yeah.
It's just time. And it's so hard for anyone who's worked the steps, I feel like for me it's hard to describe the freedom and the realness that comes from life from working the steps. It's a miracle, you know. It's a miracle that I can sit here and say I want to work the steps. You know, I'm taking people through the steps, so I need to get my shit in order. But it's just a freedom and a closeness with God that I'm today and tonight I'm just striving for, and I need more. So, thanks.
Gus, alcoholic, just to kind of like give you my opinion of what you were saying. Like, Jason here is my sponsor, and I'm a year sober today.
A couple people
Happy birthday.
congratulated
Yeah, it's amazing.
Lex and some people.
Thank you,
Because
Lex.
he
Thank you.
kind of, Jason, while you were in there, he said it was your year.
He's been quiet the whole meeting. The second
Yeah, yeah.
He dropped it when you went inside.
He's like, the only reason Gus is sober because of me.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
Seriously.
But it like for me it wasn't overnight either.
Right.
Like I would say I've been struggling with alcohol for like 8 to 10 years. And Pat knows, like Jason knows, like it wasn't like it was up and down for me. You know, it wasn't like I was out on the street homeless, fucking slamming needles in my arm. Like I kind of held it together, but mentally, my thought life I was tired, just like you are. And unfortunately, it's a double-edged sword, right? The problem is there's no way to surrender until you've hit your lowest, and like to get there, like you can't. It's really hard to surrender when life's good, everything's fucking great. But surrender when life's good. That was me for so long. When I finally like hit my last, I had time. I was a year sober, didn't work any stabs. I was like, oh, I got this. And like it took me being at my bottom and him pulling me out of a fucking really dark hole. And like, dude, he's telling me, you're gonna die, dude. You know, this is bad. We were like, and I was so dark and crushed and over everything inside that like, I finally like surrendered. And that was like the most liberating thing I've ever done my whole life for myself.
I think it was Pat a second ago who was talking about like you said something like nothing screaming at me or like in me. You know what I'm talking about? You just said that, and I thought that was like the most inspirational thing I've heard in a while because I was like, fuck, dude. Like, I feel like I'm so oblivious, but at the same time, like everything's screaming.
Yeah.
And like to what you're saying, like I keep having these like mental breaks. Like I've been homeless, right? Like I've had all the like material shit ripped away, but like I was still getting loaded. Like the fuck do you mean? That never changed anything. But like mentally, like I am like I break like multiple times. Like, and it's funny because I think I'm so fucking delusional that I think as long as I like can wake up and like wash my face and not look dead and like perform this like act at work, right? And I'm great at my job. They have no fucking idea, right? So it's like I go to work, I do a great job, then I come home and I'm like, I deserve to fucking drink. And I need to take this and this and this because I can't fucking breathe, I'm shaking, you know? It's like stupid shit. Like today at work, I took a bunch of the kids' melatonin because my hands were like this. To just try to like chill the fuck out, you know? It's just stuff like that. But like, I think you said, you were talking about him and you were saying like, you lost your job and that was like a point. And like that, I'm scared of that, right? Because it's getting to the point like, I feel like people at work are gonna start noticing like Sierra's not the same. You know what I mean? She doesn't look well, you know? So, but I really like love what you said and like happy birthday.
Thank you.
That's fucking awesome.
Okay.
A year.
My name's Brittany. I'm an alcoholic.
Brittany.
Brittany.
Hey guys. I'm just super grateful to be here. I feel like so much I can relate to so much going on with everyone and like what they're saying. It's like it is a daily struggle. Like I feel like tonight's kind of like a smaller group where you can kind of like open up. I don't really like check in or talk to like a lot of you guys, but you know, my life is totally. I'm an alcoholic. I'm an addict. struggle every day with this, and I could relate to so much what you were saying. That like now my life, I do feel like I'm a version of Bruce Lee too. You know, I'm at this point where I have my job back and I have my life back, and I'm so grateful for that. And I'm learning to have healthy relationships and like with my family, and I'm connected spiritually now too. But it's just taking that next right step for me, and that's kind of what keeps me. I'm not 100% sober either right now, but it's between me and God. And I was talking with I'm back in therapy too. I'm seeking help, and I had to reach. I went from the private planes to having everything to living behind 7-Eleven. Too. So I've had this life where it's always been kind of black and white, and I'm learning how to balance. I'm learning how, to be like a good human being. And it's crazy, like how we talk about like the fourth dimension and stuff, because what we're talking about like in this book and all this like really deep conversation, it's at the end of the day, like all of this shit like doesn't really matter, and that's kind of freeing in a way, for me at least. I wake up, I go to work, I try and be like a good person and help other people, but like I don't know, I'm just super grateful today, and this is all new, even with building friendships and connections, because my life before, I didn't have friends. I never, I struggle with isolation and social anxiety. Like, it's really hard for me to let down those walls, and I put up this exterior of, like, I don't give a fuck type of person, but really, like, inside I do kind of care, it's a balance. Like, I care, I want respect from other people, but I like last week too, I can't remember who said it, but it was like, your opinion of me is none of my business. I love that, and I've been kind of saying that mantra like over in my head again. It's like, whether I'm 100% sober or not, like I'm not behind a 7-Eleven today. Like, I am striving to be better than I was yesterday, and like I know that I'm good with God, so you can judge me, if you want, and that's your opinion. And it's a process. Again, like it's rough and it's not easy, but it makes me feel so good to today was a long day, like to be here and like to be with you guys and have connection and to be able to have real conversations like this, because it's not every day where you can sit down with like your peers and talk about like real shit, because we're all fucking thinking it, and it's like, who do I talk to about this kind of stuff besides my therapist? But anyways, thank you for letting me share, and I'll give you my number too after the meeting, because like when I was talking to I'm getting a new sponsor too, and like when you're talking about like addiction and like when you cross that line, and it talks about in the book like how far down the scale have you gone, and it's, I don't know, in my opinion, in my experience, like this is like when you are an IV heroin meth user using fentanyl, like that is like some dark, deep shit, and it's like physical, and there's some experiences that like have happened that like you may feel like, I know I felt like I couldn't relate or talk to anyone about, because like I felt like I passed this like invisible line of like I can't go back to like some of the shit I've fucking done like in my disease, like whoa, but like there is that forgiveness, and like I have a loving God today that like knowing that I can forgive and I'm constantly making my living amends to do that. So anyways, I'll stop talking. Thank you.
Thanks, Brittany.
Thanks, Brittany. We're really glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad too.
I'm Pat. I'm an alcoholic.
God.
It says here. He begins by giving us he begins by giving his attention exclusively to externals, thinking to find them cause as well as effect. But as he progresses, the truth gradually dawns upon him that outer things are but the finished article, the result of causes and happenings on the inner. And when he has reached this stage, he has started definitely upon the search for God. So I think they're saying there that it might seem like, you know, like Jason was talking about being like Bruce Lee and shit and like dodging the thoughts, but you're doing that in your mind. It's not like you can't. If I was looking at you from the outside, I wouldn't see you doing that. It's like a mental warfare, and it's inner. So but it's weird because also we say in AA, act your way into right thinking. So I don't know. I think do you have anything to add to what he's saying there?
Well, what you just said about acting your way into right thinking, because
Yeah.
thoughts are where your actions are born, right?
Right.
Or where they're
Okay.
conceived.
So yeah, it's like
But when you choose to act a certain way, it also influences your thought mind as well. When you have consistent pattern actions and you get in practice of.
But it
acting
does
a certain
start
way,
in.
It changes your desires even.
Good or
Right.
bad? Well,
Good or bad, yeah.
it's saying right here, for the man's apparent evolution is from outer to inner, just as his fundamental spiritual growth is from inner to outer.
Wow.
So both of these things are going on at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Like early sobriety, right? It's all dealing with the outer, right? Like we were using the outer to bury the inner. Right, so we got to get sober. We got to get off the drugs. It's the battle, the whole thing. We got a target, man. I'm not gonna drink or use today. Like boom, boom, boom. Then time comes on, like you're a year later, whatever, and you're like, all right, my body's back. My outer is happening. Inner now is like the warfare, right? Because what we're saying, I can't control my thoughts. Like I can't like. I want to kill people, this and that, all sorts of dark stuff, all sorts of fluffy thoughts too that are like ludicrous. But I get into this thing where like part of that surrender, right, is I'm unmanageable, right? It's like the part 2 of the first step is I'm unmanageable. I can't manage my thoughts. I can't make myself happy. I can't make myself mad. I just live in this zone here. But what I used to do early on was fight my thoughts, right? Like, oh, I shouldn't be thinking that. I shouldn't be thinking like I want to go watch porn because I'm sober, guy, you know, or I want to go bang that chick, or I want to go climb that mountain, or I want to go do whatever I want to do. Early on, I used to battle all that, right? The inner thought was just as crazy as not drinking. Like, oh, I don't want to think all that stuff. And then, like, I began to realize that it is this thing of how I treat the thought there. The other day, I was like, I want to fucking kill these people, man. And I was like, wait a minute. Because I'm far enough along in the game, I go, am I in a state of love or I'm in a state of hate? There's only 2 realities you live in. It's hate or love.
Fear or love.
Well, fear is just another form of hate.
Yeah.
And love is another form of forgiveness, right? But those 2 realities can't exist at the same time, right? The minute I thought about love, I can't hate anymore because I know about forgiveness. So what was all this going on over here? And it's that minute that I realize I can't do anything about my thoughts except what I do with my thoughts, right? Like they're coming all day long, like Bruce Lee, the whole thing. But it's the moment I'm like, okay, there's the drink coming right at me. It doesn't scare me anymore. I'm not afraid of a thought about drinking whiskey because I know what that is. I can forgive it and move on because I'm way past the outside world issue. I'm living in here now 10 years later, dude. It's waking up and being like, fuck, this is fucked and this and that. And I can pray, always pray, but I forget to pray. So the only lens I have on it all is, am I in a state of love? And what is the love? it's all this positive other stuff, but I know the difference, that I can totally intrinsically know the difference between love and hate. And that's where I can gauge my like thoughts, because I can't, like you said, I can't control that shit, man. Like, which if I pretend I can, I will drink. If I think I can stop being the serial killer inside of me, I will drink. But the minute I know I have to make peace with the serial killer inside of me, because I have to love myself enough to forgive myself for being the destroyer, right? Which gives me back to being the maker, which is prayer, which I can get back to prayer always, because it's always prayer. But sometimes I forget to pray, because I don't know how to pray, because my thought life's just going fucking mad. and that, but all I know is like, I don't want to be mad anymore. I don't ever want to waste another second of myself being mad at you or me. Because you know, if I'm mad at you or whoever I'm pointing at, and not specific, the minute I'm mad at you, I'm mad at me, because I'm sober enough to realize I'll drink if I stay here, or I'll use, or I'll do whatever if I stay here too long, man. I'll fucking die. And I'll die without God, and oh my God, all this stuff, it's madness, dude. You know, but I pray, if I can get there. Yeah. Inner and outer at the same time, balancing. That's what it's saying, is that they're symbiotic. The outside and the inside, once we get sober, are living off of each other. So whatever, you gotta be real careful with what you're doing at all times. Like, awareness is the game now, because we're sober. We don't have an excuse, we're not asleep anymore. We're like, fuck, game on, you're responsible.
We're woke.
We're woke,
We're
dude.
so woke. Sometimes I wish I still wasn't
Yeah,
asleep,
right,
you
me
know?
too.
Be
It's a
easier,
responsibility.
you know?
I was woke till 9 a.m. in my head with fearful, angry, painful thoughts all fucking night, on my knees. Like, I feel you, bro. Like, but I think I'm realizing now the reason that happened, it's because I acted from a place of ego, like on the phone with my sponsor about Rudy living at his house and my parents and this whole fucked up weird no boundary shit going on. It's because I got involved. Yo, and you know what I read Craig from Primetime posted something on the Primetime Facebook group about when we see conflict happening, when we see a fight happening, we're supposed to just like fall back a little bit and like let it resolve and then come. So I jumped right into the fucking drama and tried to like say, yo, you're supposed to let her stay there. You should, trying to tell Billy what to do with Rudy. While there were like, this whole fight was being live streamed also. There was like 500 people watching, just talking shit to me, and my ego was fully out there. It was resolved, but not without the consequences and the repercussions I created, because then he ended up texting my stepmom, and then she texted me, and now I'm at it. It was a whole ripple effect, and I'm so like sensitive that I just am still dealing with the pain from the action. So we got to be like super careful. I have to be super careful. I can't just like nonchalantly be crazy, you know? Because I'm fucking so sensitive. I don't know if that made any sense, but it just sounds
Like I was
awake.
that way too. I was always like, oh fuck, let me go and be in there and be king and fucking fix the situation. Because I know how to.
Right.
I know how to talk to this fucking guy or this Billy. Fuck Billy, and just go away, Billy. You know? And like, I don't know. Like I like the other day, like you and Danielle, that thing happened with her, and like you need to call her and tell her to come over and watch the video. I'm like, nah, dog, you do it.
Oh yeah,
You know, like, I don't want to be in the middle.
Oh, I know how to manipulate.
Yeah.
I was taught from the best.
Yeah. And like, I'm like, and then you like kind of went away, right? It wasn't even like a big deal anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I would have called her and it was us on the phone yelling at each other, like, what would that have done?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. Like, I try to What's the line, Jason? It's your business.
Three business.
Yeah.
Three businesses. God business, your business, and none of your business.
There's only three.
Three
That's
businesses.
God.
Say that again, brother.
Yeah. Say it
Three
again.
businesses. Your business, God's business, and none of your business.
Boom. So it's only my what's happening inside of me is the only thing that matters.
So, three businesses. Your business, an action you can take.
Damn.
Alright? God's business, turning it over, having faith, staying out of the result. God's business.
Yeah.
If I can't change something, I have to accept it and just be good with myself at this moment. So you don't know what's coming. Like Gus's situation, you know? Lost his job, got sober, miserable, no job, what am I gonna do? Nobody has a job right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you're stoked. You're just like everyone else. But about a year ago, you were just like, I am so doomed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not saying it's a good thing,
Yeah.
but
And then none of
there's none of my business.
anyone else.
None of my business is
Yeah.
me trying to change the way people think of me.
Yeah.
Trying to change my situation. Trying to make myself feel better if there's not an action. That's God's business.
But
That's
pain.
it.
Gems.
Like that's it.
Yeah.
That's like what I like. That's like the number one thing that I like.
People, places, situations.
Yeah.
I like
Can't
that.
change
But pain is the cornerstone to all growth.
Yeah.
So I felt this pain last night, and I can use that to grow. And I hear what you're saying now, like more profoundly than I would have 2 days ago, because
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
when you're in
felt
it, bro. That's alcoholic. You like the drama.
Yeah.
I didn't like
the
it
drama.
last
You
night.
You what?
I didn't like it last night
I,
watching.
I gamble.
Right.
I feel more. When I win, I'm already right back in it. Like, let's fucking
Damn.
let's see. You know what I mean? Like, I lose. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You were losing last night. You know, and you like to learn how to lose, bro.
Brittany,
It's weird,
It
man.
feels good, the pain. Like, it's, I don't know if it's because we're used to it, you know?
I don't
but,
know.
like, I like, it has become so normal in my life. And just like to touch on that, I just feel like it's like trying to manage everything, like in a conflict, you know? Trying to be the actor and the director and do the lighting, and you're trying to do like, I don't know, maybe like all these different things.
Uh-huh.
And I've always been told, like, just to kind of, like, step back and look from it from, like, try and look from it from, like, above, but it's so difficult, like, when you're in it.
Yeah,
That's not what we do.
it's so
We're the
hard.
fucking addicts, dude. We're the fun ones at the
Yeah,
bar.
like,
We're the
I
ones that fucking everybody wants to hang out
Causing
with.
problems.
And then we start channeling it in
For
life.
no fucking
Be
reason.
yourself.
Right.
I think too, like, I like what you said, like, we like the pain, like, it's so weird, because it's like, I love being in oblivion, like, I love, like, not knowing what the fuck's going on, everything's just, like, passing by, but it also hits weird, like, when I realized, like, last week, like, holy fuck, because when I started drinking, when I was fully absent, like I said, I got into an argument, and I said, you know what, fuck it, I literally took one sip of wine, didn't drink any more that day. And it's been fucking like 9-10 months, and I'm still, and this is where I am. Like, I've been drinking, but like there's a part of me that like loves the pain. I love the darkness. Like, I love to, like, I thrive in this, you know?
We don't
And if I
sit
didn't have, like,
ourselves.
a job and a house and stuff I have to do, like, I would totally get loaded and just be like rolling around until I'm like laid out flat, you know? But it's like sometimes in life, it's like, I feel like at this point it's like you have to fucking grow up at some point. Like, sort of tell myself. I can't just like roll around and pretend like this is all a game, you know?
That's, for me, it's step one, admitting and accepting. I know who I am, and I'm scared of myself.
Yeah.
I'm fucking scared of myself, big time, because I know I'm different than my fellows, and you leave me up to my own devices, like, I'm gonna fucking get squirrely. Like, I'll just drive through the ghetto. Just
Yep.
because I want it.
Skid Row for no
I'm gonna
reason.
drive through the ghetto and check shit out, still in sobriety.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
Brittany, I'm not, I'll just touch on that too, like, because we can cross-talk, I guess, here. But, like, in my experience, too, this time around getting sober, you know, I just had to make the decision to, like, choose to live. Even though I didn't feel it so much, like, inside, like that's what it was, like, and that's what it is in those types of situations. So it was either like I'm going to go on to the bitter end, you know, or I'm going, you know, in my experience in my situation, like I sought out help, you know, and from my fellow alcoholic, someone helped me and was there for me and showed me love, and but like I had not my parents, not my boyfriend, not my ex-boyfriend, not like, you know, anyone in my life like could make me no consequence, could make me sober. Like I don't know, from the grace of God, like, and you know, I get that daily reprieve to make that decision every day to choose to live and to choose life. So
I think too, like it's so cool, like remembering, like there's been periods in my life where I was like sober for like a good amount of time, and the one thing I miss the most is like I remember being so excited when I hit like I think like 6 months at one point, and I remember telling my sponsor at the time, I was like, dude, I have the power of choice. Like I would have that thought that would come in and be like, you're angry, like just go get a drink or go get some fucking dope, right? And I remember being like, no. Like, for once in my life, I was like, nah, I'm straight. And I'd, like, go hang out with my AA friends and do fun shit. And, like, I miss that so much because, like, at this point, I don't feel like I have the power of choice anymore. Like, all I think about is, like, okay, how am I gonna, like, make it through today without, like, having a fucking seizure from all the fucking, like, benzos I'm taking with my alcohol? Like, to just fucking maintain, right? Without, like, actually, like, just, like, losing it, you know?
and those are the promises,
Right.
Yeah.
that, you know, like I have the choice today, and like I don't clip a big book, but like I was at a hardcore rehab that was,
Let's go.
you know, but I think it's on page 86 where it's like I will like repel from it like a hot flame, like
a hot
coil,
stove.
like a hot stove, you know, like now like I can be in the car with my like addict boyfriend shooting dope like next to me and be like, you know, I'm not gonna do that, you know, like you're going through what you're going through and like it's a fucked up situation, but like I don't know, it's the promises too. So.
Yeah. Mikey Alcoholic. You know what a bottom is? Does anyone know what a bottom is?
Mm-hmm.
What?
I just know.
Oh.
I just fucking
Does
know.
anyone else?
I've just been there a lot.
So
I spend a lot of time there.
So this is what I know for me, like hearing all this and like even thinking back on my share when I was just like a bottom for me is when I stopped digging.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like, oh, we got a, 6 foot grave. We got to, okay, well, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep, no, but it's like, for me, it's like, even on the spiritual tip, it's like the hearing Pat say, oh, I was up till 9 a.m. and, you know, thinking back to my drinking and like, I never, like Jason, like when we're in it, we're not aware. It's not until we create all this wreckage or we're hungover and then we got to get the bottle and then we got to shoot we got to do all these things. That's when our life becomes unmanageable. So spiritually, today, call it today. Today, my life is spiritually unmanageable. Like I'm in my head. I'm in this, and it's like I don't want to forget the pain. So I'm just reminded of the pain. Like, that's why I stopped drinking and using drugs. It caused too much pain in my life. So take the drugs and alcohol away. I know this. I do this. You take the drugs and alcohol away, I'm still left with this giant fucking hole in my heart that I'm going to try to fill with I know what I need to fill it with. You know, I can help somebody go. I can help people. I do help people. Sometimes I'm realizing sometimes it's harder for me to help myself. And like I've said many times at this meeting, if I'm not taking care of myself, I'm useless to everyone around me. Job, friends, family, my daughter, bandmates, all across the board. If I'm not okay with me and God, I'm useless. So I don't want to forget that pain. But it's very hard when you're in the midst of the struggle or the animosity and the chaos, like, because we do love the chaos. I love the chaos. If I didn't love the chaos, I wouldn't create it in my mind. But that's where I'm struggling right now, is like, God, like, I pray, God, make it so hard to do the wrong thing and super easy to do the right thing. That's how I pray when I pray, because I know what the right thing to do is, and the right thing is to trust God, clean house, and help others. That's all that matters. Someone just said, nothing else matters. As an alcoholic and a believer in, that's all that matters. Thanks.
You just said something rad with the when you hit a bottoms, when you stop digging, and I was clicking on what Michael? Jason. Clicking on with what you were saying too is about the danger, like the constant need for this excitement and danger and stuff. And I was thinking about, like, year 5 sober, like my life, I stopped digging. I had achieved like full like mellowness.
Mm-hmm.
Like my life was mellow. I didn't want anybody in my life. I was just doing my art. I was hanging out, surfing, just I needed a car. Everything was just mellow. And then I'd stop digging for God, and then all of a sudden I'm having a kid, right? 45 years old. I'm like having a kid. And I remember my sponsor, you know, Joe, super gnarly, enlightened, like primetime guy. He was like, so you thought you made it out, huh? Now you're jumping back in. And he meant jumping back into this 3-dimensional world, because I was kind of achieving sort of an ethereal space where I was like kind of manifesting stuff, and it was all sort of happening. And then I also had this child, because I had stopped digging, and God's like, all right, you hit a bottom going up now, kind of. And it was like I had this kid, and I almost missed it, right? But the fear I have about, like, and it's about what you were saying, is like, it's not about me anymore. Like, I'm not tripping on me anymore. It's about him. And I love him so much, but it's all so fragile, and I trip. But I gotta be like a skater and a warrior and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, I get into this thing where, like, the thought life, I have the most fucked up thoughts regularly about bad things happening. And they fucking spin me off the map. Like, I'm not worried about, like, a lot of shit, but I, like, this thing with my son and how much I love him, because it was a gift that I never knew I was gonna get. But it fucking jams me up. Like, Pat in the middle of the night, like, I ain't worried about me, man. I'm sitting there like, fuck, man, we got enough shit to ride out like a year in this fucking house, man. My kid, I gotta all this, that's what I'm tripping on. And I gotta go to God and go, fucking God's got this. I love him, dude. I love this kid so much, but my drama now is about life without him. And so I always got to go back to God and just, like, love this dude right now, man. Like, when I get home, I'll just go look at him and be like, all right, dude. But it's like, but I'd stopped digging in sobriety, and it was like, okay, now that we're not going to give you a bad thing now, we're going to give you, like, this real fucking thing. And in there, I've been the divorces and fires, and almost divorces and fires and all this shit. But it's like, it was like jumping back into the game. And sobriety, okay, so much for tranquility, guy. Now it's life. You're ready for life, dude. Like, life's happened. Now go. And it was like, oh, you know, new thought life.
Yeah.
Or, do you want to ask to 8:55? Do you want to ask anybody online?
Yeah. If anyone wants to donate, you can. You know, this costs some money to set up, and you can donate to Learning to Lose, Cash App. Paul's here, Ryan Huddleston's here. Metallica said it best, nothing else matters. Ryan said that. Happy early birthday. We're both a lot of people just getting a lot out of this meeting. Someone's talking shit about me being on my phone.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But does
Oh, yeah.
anybody, the point I was trying to make is, does anybody have like a question or a burning desire?
Yeah. Is
like,
anyone have any burning desires here, or anyone have a question online? Anyone streaming?
What's Scott's channel's name? Someone asked that.
Yeah, who's Scott? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Swear
who's
I'm
Scott?
loving you, Mikey. I love your hair.
Good stuff.
Hair. Didn't you do the bowl cut?
Yeah.
You sang my version of you?
Oh, what?
Oh, bro, it's classic.
Really? Yeah, that's Hamish.
Yeah, because I seen you come up and everybody's like, oh, that's Hamish, and like we're in the same world, you know, but I do hair, and I did on my Instagram video, I got a bunch of followers, and I fucking did a bowl cut with like a fake wig at the James Corden show.
Oh,
and I was
shit.
Totally you, bro, you guys hear this shit.
Really?
It's
Okay.
classic.
Wow, that's cool.
Watch it after. Check it out.
I love it. Oh, also, I just was thinking how cool, just how cool it is that we have, like, you know, two guys here now who aren't necessarily, like, so, like, in AA or sober, that are getting a lot out of this. And,
yeah.
Welcome.
yeah, anyone, this is a meeting that's open to anyone. So I just kind of want to re-emphasize that to anyone online. If you want to invite anyone who you think could benefit from these principles, this key to success in life, and what they mean is our inner life, you know.
People are spiritually thirsty now, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're going, like, humanity's going through the shit. Like,
Yeah.
people are grabbing for God, and just this being out there.
Yeah, and that's sort of one of the ways I feel like I can be of service,
You
is
are.
to try to bring this message to anyone, wherever. I mean, we have some people from all over the world that can't get to meetings. I mean, there aren't really, I don't know if there even is any meetings. Let's see it.
Go on.
Well, let's
close.
finish. Yeah.
Well, let's see it. Oh my God, look at this. No, let's show everyone.
Hamish Patterson. Oh, man.
Oh my gosh.
Hell yeah.
Wait, who is that?
That's me, bro.
Oh my God. Here, let me show these guys. He's showing the men's groomer is doing a Hamish Malibu Illusion
It's just Hamish Patterson.
Hamish Patterson impression. So you saw that on like Tosh.0 or something?
I don't know where
You saw it online.
Well,
and
you're
you're
a hair guy. It's
Yeah.
it's in the hairdresser community
Yeah.
pretty heavily.
right.
You know, I'm a meme. The COVID meme.
Right. Well, look at his hat. Hold on. Look at his hat. You see the hat he's wearing?
Mike,
Dude,
you throw your
Look
nuts
at his
in.
hat.
Yeah.
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 Under there right now. Oh, it's gone. I like it, Shane. That's my next one.
So wait, you just dropped hats, right? People can.
Yeah, I just dropped some new hats. Mistake from the printer. It's a blessing.
Oh yeah.
There are no mistakes, man.
No, I think watching for mistakes, beautiful mistakes, is I've Orson Welles said that's like the best. That's like the greatest directors are presiding over the mistakes. You work in that world, is that?
Well, that happy accident.
Yeah, just watch. Yeah, meet with music too.
The secret.
You'll recognize them.
The Secret.
Should we
What's
put it
that?
out?
Secret. It's like,
You don't know the secret?
No, I do, but I didn't know it had anything to do with finding mistakes.
yeah, secret. It's like there's something in everything.
Yeah.
There's something in everything.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like Gus's story once again.
yeah,
Well, it's finding like the beauty in like the everyday grind is kind of what
yeah.
has been one of the things that I'm finding. The
Since,
silver lining.
do you guys, just since we're alternative here, you guys check out Neil Kramer? Neil Kramer's like pretty like all about find the real spiritual growth is in the mundane. It's not the vacation to the Barbados. It's about like you find it in the daily grind. Is that's where you break free is plugging along,
Wow.
which is the real work.
It happens.
But
You're in
Neil
that
Kramer-
moment of bliss, it's so
Yeah.
good. Where you're just like, I am good. Like That's
Yeah.
like sobriety. Like when I'm not a slave and I'm comfortable in my skin, it's the best feeling ever. I'm just like, I don't need anything right now.
Yeah.
Like, you kidding me right now?
That's when I
Yeah,
go.
it's just joy.
That's when I go for a bang or a cigarette and I get out of it.
Yeah. Same.
I'm like, oh, I'm good. Let me grab like an anxiety cigarette or like a fucking hit the vape. You do though. We do want to sit and baby that gratitude and that peacefulness.
Hard, dude.
All right, let's wrap
All
it
right,
up.
great.
Let's pray.
Cool.
Pray out.
Pray out. Jason, want to say a prayer? Or-
Sure, serenity.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
We don't like touch hands or.
Alright,
You don't?
You could if you want to, but
here we go. You ready?
You don't
Yeah.
hold my hand.
God.
God,
Grant
me
the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Amen.
keep coming back. It works if you work it.
Work it.